such a manner so that you can give adequate information to the hospital authority, so that hospital authority can take some measures, that is, what are the factors contributing for the not attending the hospital. Such a manner. Okay, so that is important. Is it clear or any question?
Clear, sir.
Clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
So for the action research, you can collect some of the qualitative information. After that, you can convert it some measurement variables, and you have collected some data, and based upon that, you are giving this knowledge. Okay, these are the factors that I have received. And so that is the regression equation, etc. Possibly this is the reason. But the action research can provide you the insight about how to solve the current problem. Doctoral dissertation that mainly aims to contribute some new theory. Okay, suppose I am interested to do research on this job satisfaction of nurses and doctors. And if I add, that is okay, that is during the pandemic situation, then it has some value. Otherwise, there are several research papers about the job satisfaction of nurses and doctors. But you have to contribute. Suppose you are interested to show how the role stress during the COVID-19 pandemic situation, how the role stress affect the job satisfaction of nurses and doctors during the COVID period, then it might be considered as the doctor. Why? Because of this COVID. And you have to give adequate justification how the COVID-19 is related with the relationship of job satisfaction and the role stress. That you have to show. Then that has some value. COVID, pandemic, and the non-COVID situation. Because you have to contribute some new thing. That is the most important issue in case of the PhD. So PhD is not the set of correlation, regression, structural equation modeling, etc., etc., etc. PhD is not that. You have to contribute the new theory. Okay. So another important part, therefore the important part is the sampling. So when we are thinking about the nurses, then we have to classify the nurses. Because some nurses, they are working in the rural areas, rural health centers. And some nurses, they are working in the government hospitals. So do you think that is the government hospital nurses and the hospitals and the nurses working in the rural health centers, their role stress or their job satisfaction same? May not be. Again, if it is a rural area, then again you have to find out that is this rural means to what extent or the distance between the rural health center and the main road. If your rural health center is close to the main road, and if your rural health center is at least 30 kilometers away from the main road, then the job satisfaction will differ. Because the infrastructural facilities will be different. So therefore, what is important, that is initially you have to collect some information from your representative sample, so that finally you will be able to contribute some new thing. Is it clear or any question? So the sampling is very important. And in case of the sampling, you can follow the different type of experimental design. I am suggesting experimental design because then you can control your sample size. So one-way randomized design, I think you have idea about the one-way randomized design. Do you have idea about the one-way randomized design?
One-way randomized.
Okay, maybe there are 3 treatment levels, and under each 3 treatment levels, maybe you can collect data from the 30 people or 40 people maximum. So total people will be the 120. That is the one-way randomized design. And there is another design, that is the block design. Wherein you have to create the block based upon some previous data. Okay. And you have to find out, that is the whether any effect of the block on your dependent variable, or is there any effect of treatment on the dependent variable? Because block and treatment interaction, that is your error.
So last line ta ki bollen? Effect of
You
block
can assess the effect of block.
On dependent
You
variable.
can assess the main effect of block. You can assess the main effect of treatment.
Okay.
Block and treatment of?
Another one is the block and treatment interaction. That is basically your error.
Okay.
So you can assess the F statistics. Or you can do the factorial design. Maybe 2 by 2 factors, or 2 by 3 factors, or 2 by 3 by 2 factors. For example, in case of this job satisfaction, nurses and doctors, 2 factors are there. And again, the nurses, 2 factors, male and female. Doctors also male and female. Then again, you can find out that is the male figure, they are in rural area and they are in urban area. So 2 by 2 by 2, 1 factorial design is possible. So you can study the main effect of your occupation type, that is whether nurse or doctor. You can study the main effect of gender, male, female. You can study the location effect. So all those variables will be in your Google form.
Sir, you can assess the test.
Here's the main effect and the interaction effect. So 3 main effects are there. One is the occupation type, nurse or doctor. Another one is the gender type, male or female. Another one is the location type, that is the rural or urban.
And interaction effect?
Interaction effect of the first one, what I say, occupation
Okay.
versus sex.
Okay.
Another one, occupation versus sex versus location.
Okay.
Similarly, sex versus location.
Okay.
So you will get both the main effect and the interaction effect. So all those variables will be in Google Form. So when you want to create the Google form, you have to follow the research methodology. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. Is it clear on any question?
Sir, occupation type re kon asbe?
Yes, occupation type has the main effect. Occupation versus sex, that is the interaction effect.
So can we get some more information about this t-test, like the main differences between the control group and the treatment group?
Yes, control group and treatment, that is okay. That is very simple, simple thing. Yes, that is possible. That is a simple t-test.
Sir,
Yes.
occupation type.
T-test can provide you this information whether the two groups differ, whether the two groups differ or not. But you cannot give the reason.
Okay.
The two groups different, that might be your action research.
Okay.
But it is not the doctoral dissertation. So when you think about the PhD, that means you have to contribute some new theory. So simple journal publication is not the PhD. PhD is different. So now again, what is important, that is when you do the factorial design, you are following the stratified random sampling. Because there are 3 strata. And there are many variables that can be considered as a factor, but we have considered only these 3 as the factor. Why? You have to give the adequate justification. Why do you think the occupation is the factor for job satisfaction? Why do you think the location is the factor of job satisfaction? Why do you think that is the sex is the factor for job satisfaction? Why do you think there will be some interaction between them or among them? You have to give adequate justification before that. Otherwise, you cannot make any hypothesis. So you have to give the adequate rationalization for your hypothesis. Is it clear or any question?
सर ऑक्यूपेशन टाइप जो कहले उसमें क्या आएगा ऑक्यूपेशन टाइप
Whether nurse or doctor.
नर्स और डॉक्टर सर स्ट्रैटिफाइड सैंपलिंग जो कहले सेटा कोन
There are two approaches of stratified sampling. One is the proportionate sampling, that is the 50-50-50-50. For example, 200 nurses, or maybe the 300 nurses and 300 doctors. After that, the 300 means 150 male and 150 female, and 75 from rural and 75 from urban.
proportionate sampling and two approaches
Yeah.
another one
Another proportion is basically the distribution. For example, in the hospital setting, you will find that is a more number of nurses are there in comparison with the doctors. So you can think that is you will collect at least the 80% data from the nurses and 20% from the doctors. But if you think there is a 50% doctors and 50% nurses, then you will be in trouble.
they are 80 to 20 principle 80
Pareto model.
Yes.
Are you thinking about the Pareto?
Yes, sir. 80-20 principle distribution.
80-20 distribution, yes, Pareto model.
Pareto.
Okay. And you have to think about the statistics.
Yes.
Which statistics finally you will apply. Whether the statistics will be the ANOVA, or whether the statistics will be the correlation, or whether the statistics will be the regression. All things you have to think earlier in framing your hypothesis. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. You have the data and you will find that is the maximum data is skewed in nature, and then you will cry.
So skewness, how we can see check skewness?
Then you have to follow the normal distribution model. Whatever the characteristics are there, for example, you want to study the job satisfaction of nurses, then you have to collect data at least who are highly satisfied. And who are less satisfied. And if you think that is you will collect data only from the highly satisfied, then the data will be the skewed, so negatively skewed. Okay. Is it
So
clear?
what happens if we get a sample of doctors or nurses, whatever, that those who state that they are highly satisfied with their job? So we have nothing, we have no control on the skewness over there.
No. When you want to collect the data, then you have to find out. That is, who are the nurses and who are the doctors? They are relatively less satisfied.
Okay.
Otherwise, suppose you have collected the data and you will find that is all the doctors are highly satisfied and all the nurses are highly satisfied. Okay. So everybody's score is above than 3.
Okay.
So everybody will be in the 4 and 5 region. Then you will be in trouble.
Sir, we have to prove that hypothesis, less satisfied.
Yeah, that is important. So you have to collect the data from them who are relatively less satisfied also. Because you will find that is that some nurses, they are not coming to the hospital regularly. You can talk. And if you find she or he is less satisfied, you can collect the data from him also. And this type of manipulation is important. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble because you're sampling. If your data is skewed in nature, you will be in trouble. Especially when your data is subjective data. For example, job satisfaction data like that. The thing is that whatever the characteristics should be variable. If it does not vary much, then that is not considered as the variable. Is it clear or any question?
Job satisfaction should be variable. But
Yes, job satisfaction should be variable. It should vary from lower range to upper range. Suppose 10 items are there. So the lowest score will be the 10 and maximum score will be the 50. If it is a 5-point scale. Is it clear or any question? Sampling is very important, very, very important. Because the sampling actually determines your statistics. If you want to follow any parametric statistics, you have to follow all the assumptions of the normal distribution. In many theses, I have noted that is the students collected large number of data, but the data very much skewed in nature, but still applied parametric statistics, and they are telling, okay, this is my observation, but there is a question.
Yes, sir.
And you know that is in art, you know several strategies are there, statistical tools are there. Mona Lisa knows, Sumita knows very well. QQ plot.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so two things are there. If it is a descriptive research, then you have to think about the categorical data properly. And if it is a correlation research or the regression research, you have to find out the categorical as well as the non-categorical. Is it clear or any question?
So once more, please, descriptive research, we have to think about categorical data properly. And what is the other type of research you said?
For example, you want to find out that is how many people are basically nurses and how many people are doctors, and how many nurses prescribe this type of medicine and how many doctors prescribe this medicine. So that is basically the categorical data. Because the measures are basically the frequency, percentage, proportion, like that, not the score. Okay.
Sir, for descriptive categorical type data and what other type? You told.
Okay, now I am sharing the screen. This is the model I have sent in the group. So this is the independent variable, research hypothesis, sampling plan, possible statistics, and probable questions. They are basically contributing what will be your Google form. Your cover page, the section, questions, response scale, image, YouTube link, add-on. They are basically the Google form, and the data tracking by the bar chart, pie diagram, pivot table, row data, column data, and the correlated data. Okay?
Yes.
So this first part is over. Now I am coming to the Google form. So this is one Google form. Currently, RPRIT is dealing with one research that is a dance effect on the preschoolers. So that is the dance experience of preschoolers. Okay. So that is your cover page. How do you get it? You can collect any Google image. Okay.
Yes.
And then you will paste it.
Yes, sir. There is in the Google form.
In the
Or you
Google
can-
form, you can paste it so that it becomes very clear. Now there will be the section, and you have to write this thing, that is the informed consent. For example, I hereby give my voluntary consent without any conflict of interest and without any coercion, with the understanding that this consent is for collection of data only for purposes of research, and full confidentiality shall be maintained by the researchers about the disclosed information in this form. I hereby give this information as per my knowledge in full disclosure and in the spirit of advancement of scientific research. Okay? So you have to collect the informed consent. So that is the first section. Okay. And after that, you have to collect the email. And other information.
Yes, sir. That is basic information.
That is the basic information.
Yes. Email, name, age, and then sex, then occupation, all will come.
Yes. So please you write down at least what are the items you want to know for the job satisfaction of nurses. Because you have seen several nurses in the hospital, right? From your birth.
Yes.
And I think you have seen the hospital, you have met some nurses, so you can understand what is the job satisfaction like that.
First, we will collect the basic information, then we will go for research information. We will collect the liquid skill.
Okay, so you have to find out all the.
First, we will go for basic information, then we will go for research information.
Yes, so there will be the two sections,
Two
right?
sections. Yes, sir. Yes. In basic information, we will collect the name, email, address, then sex, gender, occupation, then location, all the
Address.
basic information, address, all. Then in research, we will collect some research type questions, some Likert scale. We will collect some data. Basic information में name, sex, location, age, marital status, educational qualification, monthly income, occupation.
Yes, all those things will be there.
Yes. Then research information and Likert type scale, strongly disagree to strongly agree. It may be 5-point Likert scale, it may be 7-point Likert scale, like this.
Yes.
We'll collect the research information. We can ask also in basic information, we can ask some questions.
Yes, in
In
the basic
multiple choice.
information, sir, in the basic information section also we have to ask some questions to categorize our data, such as
Yes.
department of job, time of experience.
Yes, yes. How much time you are getting?
Yes, all of them will be included in the basic information. So that will be
Basic
the
information.
section. First
Yes.
Only then
section
we can
will be
categorize
the
the data.
consent, right? First section will be the consent.
Consent.
And second section will be your basic
Research.
information. And this basic information should have your independent variable. And the third section will be your dependent variable.
Sir, in this case, like the topic that we have taken up, job satisfaction, the research information would be like, are they happy with the job on a 5-point scale or a 7-point scale? Like, Is that a part of the research information?
The first part is the basic information, right?
Yes, basic information.
Yes.
No, when we are
Second
talking
is
about research information, then
Sorry, I cannot follow. What are you telling, Shumita?
in the research information part, when we use the Likert scale, like for job satisfaction, our question can be like, are the doctors happy with their job, or like in a 5-point scale or a 7-point scale? That sort of research information. As far as job satisfaction is concerned,
strongly agree to strongly disagree.
Research information mainly includes the
So then we have to get in our operational definition, we have to mention that what do mean about satisfaction? What are the categories? Satisfaction?
how much you are satisfied with the pay,
okay, okay.
how much you are satisfied with your supervisor, like that.
Okay.
Sir, in research information, we have some scale.
Yes, this can be put on a scale, satisfied with pay.
Yes.
So somebody says, I'm fully satisfied, for example. So that person gets 5.
Yes.
That way.
We have some constraint.
That is the most important part, because whenever you want to collect the data, you have to think that is whether your scale will be the 5-point or your scale will be the 7-point, like that. For example, you want to collect the data from the company managers.
Okay.
So it is better to use the 7-point scale. But if you want to collect the data from the student population, 5-point scale is okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, can you tell me why 7-point scale and why not 10-point scale? Why not? Why 5-point scale?
So the analysis will be more varied, like it will be more specific if it is a 7-point scale. Students, for example, cannot go to that sort of specifications. So it is better with them with the 5-point scale.
Yeah, another important part, that is you can control the skewness.
Okay, okay.
Because the managers are satisfied. So after 3, maximum score will be 4, 5.
Yes, sir.
So at least if you get the 3, after 3, 4 to 7, at least your data relatively better, because you can get more variation.
Yes, sir.
If it is a 10-point scale, fine. For example, if you want to study the job stress, it is better to use the 10-point scale.
You'll get more good.
Because the managers, they can make the maximum difference. Their cognitive ability is better. Maybe the 10 years experience or 20 years experience, and you are talking about the job satisfaction, they will say, okay, I'm satisfied. Then what will be? Nothing. But if you give them, that is a 10-point scale, then they will think that is what, in which location they will assign. So are you satisfied with the Amazon or with the Flipkart? Okay, I'm satisfied. But if it is a 7-point scale, then I can think.
Yes, sir.
Sir, in my MPhil, I studied the 7-point Likert scale. Studied.
Yes, in your research, if you want to collect the data from the managerial level, or the people having a higher level of reasoning capacity, because we can assume that is they are the managers, they are the company managers, so their reasoning level on a high.
I was studying the impact of digital marketing on online buying behavior and purchase decision. A study on consumers of Odisha. So I did 3 sections in research information. First is perception towards digital marketing. Second is buying behavior, and third is actual purchase decision. So I made 7-point Likert scale. Sir.
But you have to find out what is the theory. I have no idea how many theories are there, because there are several theories. You have
Yes,
to
sir.
read those theories of the digital marketing. I have no idea. I am not expert in
Okay.
digital marketing.
Yes, sir. I did the 3
You have to
sections.
study the different theories of the digital marketing.
Yes.
And then you have to find out what are the limitations in digital marketing. I have no idea. I am not expert in that area.
Sir, in basic information, I also asked some questions like what type of product or services consumers purchase via internet. Then I use digital channels more than the
No,
traditional channels.
Mona Lisa, you have to think what will be your unit of analysis. Whether the unit of analysis is individual, or unit of analysis is the group, or unit of analysis is the organization.
Yes.
If your unit of analysis is individual, then you have to think of I. Okay, I am buying.
Yes, I also
I am satisfied.
used one question. I use digital channels more than the traditional channels for getting information. Yes or no? That I
No,
question I
it is nothing. It is. It does not give you much information.
that in the
Yes
basic
and
section.
no, yes and no. It is just 0, 1. You will not get much information. How frequently, that is important.
How much time I also asked, do you invest on internet
How
marketing?
frequently you buy the product through the digital? How frequently? Then that will be at least the 7-point scale.
In the basic section, I asked also some questions in the multiple boxes like this. Like which of the following channels do you use for getting information? Website, social networking site, YouTube, phone, and then digital billboards.
No.
Digital
Always keep in mind that is whether that is your independent variable or not. You can write many things. Whatever comes to your mind, you can write down. But you have to find out what is your independent variable. Are they independent variables? If they are independent variables, you can consider.
Yes, sir, independent.
Because they are the contextual variables. They are basically your contextual variables. Maybe they are the moderating variable. They may be the mediating variable. So you have to define your independent variable, dependent variable, moderated variable, mediated variable, all those variables.
Sir, in basic section, we can ask the question, contextual
You can
question.
ask the question, but you have to define them earlier.
Okay.
What is your independent variable?
Yes.
What is your mediating variable? What is your moderator variable? Because you have to give the justification. If you give me this Google form, I will ask you the same question. Why you have used this one? Then you have to give the justification.
Yes, sir.
So you can write down that is whatever comes to your mind, but that is not true. That will not be used. That means it is an unnecessary harassment on the respondent.
Okay.
So you cannot harass the respondent. Unnecessary.
Sir, is there any questions to be asked in basic session?
Yes, you have to study your variable. You have to do the research. You have to study.
Then we can ask some questions.
Yes. Before that, you have to think about what is your independent variable, dependent variable.
Yes, sir.
I have no idea what is your independent variable.
Yes, sir. When we will do research, we have to think that, then we will put.
Yes, that is important. That
Then
is
research.
research.
Yes, sir. Then research information will do some Likert type analysis. Sir.
Okay. So if whether you have any question, you can ask me.
Sir,
Vignesh,
you,
any question?
Sir, I have nothing to ask now. And if I note down, I'm noting down everything, sir.
Okay,
sir,
okay.
you told one thing, consent. So where we use the
First section.
hash section? So consent में क्या question आएगा sir? Consent.
Consent तो question नहीं है, consent तो consent ही है.
Oh, consent जो
Consent
ऊपर
is the
okay.
simple consent.
Oh, consent, okay. Then basic
That is the
information.
consent. Consent is not the question.
Yes, you told that questionnaire के below जो था consent, वही तो?
No, consent means we will maintain all sorts of privacy for your data.
Yes, I understood, sir. I am.
Consent is not the question.
Yes. Oh, that you told the section, sir. Yes.
That is the section 1.
That is okay. Section 1.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But consent, sometimes we are not considering it as some section 1, like basic info and research info that we considering section
Now,
1 and section.
consent is most important part. Otherwise, your thesis will not be accepted.
We are writing the consent, but sometimes we are not considering it some section, like section 1. We are starting the basic information, section 1, then section 2, research information, like this.
Then your thesis will be thrown away.
Okay, sir. I will do, sir.
And we will not even get the ethical permission also to conduct the research.
Yes.
No, we are, sir, my point is we are doing the sections, but we are not mentioning the section 1, section 2.
You may not analyze, that is a different thing. But if you do not collect the consent, so your thesis will be thrown away.
No, consent, we are writing consent, na, sir. Before basic information, we are writing the consent, sir.
Yes, that is important.
That is important.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now any question, if you have any question, you can ask me.
Sir, is there any rationale behind the Likert scale, like a 5 point, 7 point? Why is there the odd in number? Is there any rationale behind that fixing 5 point, 7 point, even and not even numbers?
No, the thing is that you have to, whatever the data you will collect, the data will not be the skewed in nature. So if you think that is a 4 point, you can think about the 4 point. But who are your sample? For example, my sample is the workers, okay? And I am studying the job satisfaction level. So you will find the maximum people, they will give the 4.
Yes, sir.
That is very natural. Na? You will give the same thing.
Sir, how we can study this 5 point till 7 point? How we can? I will know, sir. What type of Likert scale we'll use?
Depending
How
on
a
the type
researcher
of
will
work
know?
you take up.
Sir, how a researcher will know the 7 point or 5 point? He may
Depending upon the type of work that we take up, where more means the basic thing is that the number, if it is a 5 point scale or a 4 point scale, the answers, there are chances of skewness. Whereas for a 7 point
due to
scale,
skewness, we have to think before we are studying.
yes.
That is important.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But sometimes we don't keep in mind the skewness part, sir. We are simply doing research, and research. What research we are doing? We are not keeping in mind the skewness thing.
For that reason, you are in RPRIQ.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have to.
So you have to think about the whether your data skewed or not.
Yes.
That is important. Okay. Okay, now I am presenting some data. For example, this is the data I am presenting to you. That is basically the data tracking. Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you will find that is the name, school code, district code, age, class, gender. All things are there. Okay. So this is my independent variable. Class, gender, age, district code. Okay. So that is my independent variable. For that reason, I have assigned all of them in my Google form. And after that, this is there is some questions. Okay. If the response is not applicable, then it will be 0. Not applicable, sorry, not applicable. Now, if the response is, because here I am studying, that is whether they have perceived any criminal behavior in their school or not. Okay. Like that. So this is the score. So what will be the maximum score here? How many items are there? 15. Okay. So the maximum score will be the 15 and the minimum score will be the 0. So this is basically the raw data. Okay. So I have to find out whether is there any data that is above than above than 15. Okay. So if I write down this command, please you follow. This is basically the sum. Okay. Sum of the full data. So that is the total score. Okay.
Yes.
Now instead of that one, just I am writing here. I can copy and paste.
You're dragging it.
583 data are there.
Big data.
It is a large data, not the big data. Okay. Then you have to find out it is as simple as possible.
Sir, what does 1, 2, and 3 mean?
The
Zero.
first one is 7, na?
Oh, 1, 2, and 3 is this is from Likert scale.
7 with the sum.
No, it is not the Likert scale.
Acha.
It is a simple categorical scale.
Okay. 0, 1, 2, 3. So what does the what?
Oh, no,
do they-
sorry. This is a Likert scale, right?
This is a Likert scale.
This is a Likert scale, huh?
0, 1, 2.
Total score is there. This is the Likert scale.
I do not know where it is sum. It will be the sum, right?
Yes, sir.
Sum
of
means K. Oh, acha. Oof. Let's see. Yeah,
Seven.
so I can take this data. Okay. And then I can click the insert.
The pivot table will do.
Yes, I can apply in the pivot table. New sheet. I am creating the data.
Sir, why you made the sum, sir?
At the with the sum. Huh? What are you telling?
Why you did the sum, sir, at the last?
Sum because I want to test the this one. That is whether what is the total value.
Total
So what is the total value that I can
value.
test?
Okay.
Okay. But again, I have to find out
Sir, but in case of a Likert scale, how does the total value help us?
sorry, one second. Huh? What happens?
In case of a Likert scale, how does the sum or the total value?
Because yes, because you have to relate the item total correlation.
Okay.
For that reason, total score is important. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Now I am presenting on Google form so that you can easily understand. That is the structure. Where is that? Okay, so initially we will go to the Google Apps. After that, you have to click the Google Drive. Okay. Next, you have to click the New. Next, you will get the Google form. And you have to click it. Okay.
Google Apps, Google Drive.
New Google form.
Okay. Here you will find that is a customized theme. You can apply some image also
Yes, sir.
as the header. Suppose this is my header. Okay, I can click it and it will be header. Or if I want to upload any particular image, I can click here, upload.
Yes.
Or if I want to take some photo, then I can click here.
Upload means we have to download some image,
No,
then upload.
upload, yes. You have some image file,
Downloaded file.
yes, and you want to upload
Upload.
as your header. Suppose my question is related to the job satisfaction of the nurses. Therefore, I can click this capsule.
Yes.
Okay. You may think about the logins also. Or if it is related to any birthday, you can click birthday. Okay, so many things are there, food and dining. Whatever the images, you can click.
Yes, sir.
And for the kids, for the party,
School to students, you are making some questions. So
for the night out, for the wedding. So many things are there for the kids. Suppose I want to add it. Is it clear now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
yes, sir.
Very easy.
It is very easy, yes.
Yes.
And you have to write down your item untitled form, maybe the transport satisfaction.
Then consent.
Okay.
Oh,
So that is the transport satisfaction. After that, there is one untitled question. It is always to use the email first. First, you collect the email.
Sir, consent will be there, na? One section. Consent.
Yeah, you can, yes, you can write down the what is the transport satisfaction. After that, you can make one section here. There is one add section. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Have you seen? So
Yes,
you can
sir.
write
Add.
down. Yes, you can write here. So that is the section. Okay. So here you will write the
Consent.
consent. So whatever your consent, and then you will collect the yes, no, yes or no. Okay. So whether the consent, and you have to write down all your consent.
Yes.
Then you can write down that is the
email.
Basic information.
email.
Hmm.
Email name, address.
Then there is a multiple choice. It is better not to use the, you will write down this is the click, short answer.
Short answer. Then required. इसको required करना पड़ेगा.
Okay.
Short answer required. Required option को.
Now you can add another variable.
सर इसको required कीजिए. Email.
Huh?
Email को required कीजिए.
No, I'm just testing. Yes, you can click it required, then the email will be required. Okay, email required. Okay. Now I am thinking that is I have to use the date and time. I can write down date. So here I can write down today's date. Okay. Next, I want to add something more. Maybe I want to write down the month, sorry, the time. Time of data collection. So here I can click.
There will be option, no? Sir, time.
Time option is there, but it does not show. I do not know why.
So you may change some.
No. Yes, now it will come.
Yes.
Time.
And
Then you can click the time.
yes, sir.
After that, again, you have to place this one, duplicate.
Duplicate.
Why
Then you
duplicate, sir?
can,
New question, right?
yes. Then you can write down new question.
New question.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
Mona Lisa already knows it. Okay.
I already working.
Created.
Very good. Very good.
Yes, sir.
So which
I
transport
ample time
you
I
use? So my question is, which transport you regularly use?
also I am making some questions for my students. I know.
Okay. Then there will be the check boxes.
check multiple check multiple box.
So there is a check boxes.
Yes. Many option will be there.
Yeah, you can write down the option. That is
Option.
the pass.
Pause, then scooty,
Then another one that is the
train,
taxi.
pause, train, scooty like this. Pause, bicycle, bike. taxi.
Whatever the things are there, you can write
Okay.
down bus,
Multiple
taxi,
choice.
tram,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
train.
Train.
Okay. After that, you can click it because you do not want anything more.
Yes.
If you want to add any other, you can add any other.
Any other? Others we can write.
Okay. So this is basically your categorical data.
Yes, sir.
Now the second question, you can make another section.
So basic information is categorical data.
That is the categorical data because which transport you regularly use.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this might be your
The research in.
dependent variable.
Yes.
So you can write that is how much
Sir, Google form re we have to define all the variables. Sir.
you are satisfied with. Okay.
Liquid types रहेगा ना इधर से.
So
5.7.
if you write down that is how much you are satisfied with the transport, then this satisfaction basically the maybe the sitting. Okay, sitting position.
Okay.
Suppose this is you want to examine the sitting position, and you can describe also. So like that, you can collect the different type of data. Okay.
Yes, sir. And we have to put the questions in the Likert type scale.
Okay, now I am going to another one.
Sir, for Likert type data collection, there is the option, sir. Scale will come 1 to 5 or 1 to 7. We can put.
It does not show. I do not know what happens.
Sir, you have to write some questions, Likert type, and then
No, that is one that is there, how much you are satisfied, but it does not show me. That is the scale. Oh, because it shows only the description. No, I am not interested for the description. Okay, I
duplicate it.
this is also the description. Therefore, the problem lies. I do not want description. Transport satisfaction after that.
Sir, you add some questions. Plus mark. You add question.
Add question.
Yes, sir. Now you write some questions.
Okay.
Yes.
To satisfaction with sitting.
Yes. You ask some liquid type questions.
Okay, satisfaction with sitting position.
Yes, sir. This
Then
may have
there is a multiple
rating
choice
then.
grid.
Yes.
So I can follow the linear scale.
Linear scale is there, sir. Yes, sir. 1 to 5.
Okay, so 1 to 5 is there. I can put some level that is least satisfied.
Least.
Less.
Then satisfied.
No, least that is the very satisfied. So 1 to 5 is the scale, that is a linear scale.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, if I want to add another question,
Sir, keep it required.
yes, so it becomes automatically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
So this is very easy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So satisfaction with sitting, satisfaction with
Middle neutral haba. Least satisfied, less satisfied, neutral, satisfied,
okay.
very
Now,
satisfied.
Sir, for the Likert
so
scale,
that
what
is
did we click in? Sir?
Linear scale.
Oh,
this is
actually,
a linear scale.
okay.
So linear scale means 1 to 5, 1 to 7, whatever might be. Okay.
Linear scale
So
option
this
is there,
the
na?
satisfaction, satisfaction with the conductor's behavior.
You can also do 1 to 7, 1 to 10 like this. 1 to 5 sir is telling.
So satisfaction with the কি বলতে পারি conductor-ই করে দিই।
Satisfaction with speed. Speed
Because
of
generally
transport.
we are not satisfied.
Linear scale option is there. See, madam.
Then there is a linear scale.
Yes.
Okay, now here it is 1 to 5. You can think of the 0 also.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
There is
And you can, it is up to 10.
up to 10. Yes.
Okay.
Least to very satisfied. Label. Sir is doing the label. So that it will come fast. The liquid type. So we have to keep it required so that it will
Okay.
come.
So you will get the 10-point scale automatically.
Yes, sir.
So in this manner, you can do it. After that, you have to click the responses.
Yes, sir. It will give you the.
But before that, you can do, this is the preview.
Yes, sir.
You can click the preview.
Yes, sir.
So that is your preview data.
Yes, sir.
And you have to write down the next. So you will get this information. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. What was Mona Lisa talking about required option?
Required option, that is in for each question,
Hmm.
there is one option. That
Okay.
is, it is required.
Okay.
So you can click it because now there is another one that is a next.
Next will not come, sir. You click on the column. Here is one pen button, na? You click pen button. Pen button.
Okay.
नीचे में एक रेड कलर दिया है ना, गोल में एक पेन लाइक यू क्लिक ऑन दिस.
So bus, taxi, train, others, all things are there. Okay. So after that, this is the required question.
Okay.
Okay. Because if you go to this untitled form, you will find this thing. So this is clear, right? Required. So if you click it, then it will be the required question.
Yes.
If you do not click it, it will not be the required question. So you can click it as the required question.
जो भी आप क्वेश्चन आपको रिक्वायर्ड लगेगा उसको रिक्वायर्ड करना पड़ेगा. Otherwise you will not get the answer.
Again, you can click it required.
Okay.
जो भी क्वेश्चन रिक्वायर्ड नहीं है उसको
Required. Okay.
रिक्वायर्ड करके रखो.
Next, you can click it preview.
Review. Yes.
There is another option, that is you can use any image file.
Yes, yes. In the middle we can put.
You can add one question. You can any YouTube link also.
Yes, sir.
Suppose you want to write down marketing.
Yes.
Not the marketing, transport.
Transport.
And you can search. Okay, so you will get several transport.
Yes.
And if you click it,
It will come.
then it will be considered as your video.
It came. Transport video.
Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now you can write down that is what are the transport you have seen.
Related to the topic, we can add the YouTube videos.
Okay. You can write down. You can apply the image file also. Add image. Okay, so you can apply the video, you can apply the image file, everything you can do it.
Yes. Sir, in PhD research, we can do it YouTube video.
If it is relevant.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If it is relevant, then you can apply.
Yes.
But you have to justify that this is relevant or not. I have no idea.
Sir, you can go ahead. Yes. Click
So
on
next.
Next, nahi. Click on the.
Here I can write down the email. because here you will find the time, date, and everything. So like that. Okay, so I'm not interested for this one. I want to show you another important thing. That is the add-on. You can write down the add the collaborators.
Yes.
So before that, you can go to the settings.
Okay.
So you can collect the mails.
Yes, sir.
It is a general setting. It is the presentation setting. It is the quizzes.
Quizzes, make it quiz.
So if you have any question, you can collect that data directly from here. So the students can get the answer very quickly. Okay. So that is all about the presentation. And that is the general one. So you will find the response receipt. You can collect the emails. You can click it here. If you think the limit to at least the one response, then you can click it here.
सिर्फ आपको ही आएगा
Respondent
बाकी
can, Mona Lisa, please stop. Respondents can write down here also the edit after submit. And if respondents are interested to get the summary, you can click it here. After that, if you save, then everything will working on. Okay. So this is clear now. Now,
Yes.
there is another one. Suppose you are interested to make one collaborator. So you can click here. Okay, add people and groups. You can write down your people name, any particular individual's name, provided that individual has the Google or Gmail account. Okay, that is important. Another one is the add-on. You can click it here. There is one add-on. In case of the add-on, many things are there. Form limiter, form ranger, timer. So many things are there. Form presenter. Okay. So if you want to add any particular thing, you can add it. From recycler, from snip, many things are there. So if you click anything, for example, form approvals are there. Turn Google Form submission into interactive workforce. If you click it, or you can certify, you can give the certificate directly. If you have filled up the form, then you will get the certificate. So you will click it here. And if you think that is okay, your form is approved, then you can click it here. So several add-ons are there. As per your requirement, you can apply the add-on. Many add-ons are there. So you can play with the add-on and you will get a lot of the information. But provided this should be in your desktop. Okay, desktop or laptop. Mobile may not be possible. Add-on. Okay.
Yes.
So this is all about the Google form. Now, after that,
How to share this form, sir?
huh?
Through WhatsApp or any social media, how can we share this?
Then you can click this one.
Send it. Go to send.
You will
Send
get
your
this. And there you will find the preview. Or here it is send is there. You can apply the send. So it
Send
is
me a
better to
email.
follow the preview model. Because preview is there.
Yes.
So you have to see.
Copy the link.
Yes, you have to copy. After that, you will go to your WhatsApp group. And then your applied statistics.
Sir, go to send. Then I will tell you, sir.
No.
Shortcut key will come, sir. I will tell you.
This is better. Okay, I have sent the Google form in the group.
Okay, sir.
Preview, then copy the link, then go to WhatsApp group.
Yes, when you do the preview, at that time you will form the view form. If view form is not there, that means there is some trouble.
Oh,
Okay.
So view form should be there.
yes.
Okay, that is important.
Sir, needs some amount of practice. Practice করতে হবে, sir.
একটু practice করতে হবে.
Sir, is it mandatory to get ethical permission before collecting data?
Yes. If you want to collect data, that is whether I have taken rice, you have to take the permission. Because you are collecting my personal information. Okay. How many children I have, whether I am married or not, that is the personal data. So when you want to collect any personal data, you have to take the consent. Without consent, it will not be accepted. And most of the time, you will find that is the high impact factor journals, they will ask you, that is, what is your consent form? And in your doctoral dissertation, in the appendix, you have to write down your consent form. Otherwise, your thesis will be thrown away. Now, very important, the consent form. Plagiarism, consent form, these are the major issues. Okay.
Actually, after learning this Google form, how to create it, I am feeling ready to collect some data.
Yes, you have to collect the data.
Sir, another way we can do it, sir. Send button, then it will come the big big URL, then certain URL, it will come short URL. Then we'll copy paste it, then it will come the view form like this, Google form. You can also do this.
Yes, view form is important.
That will come also, that method, sir. Certain URL, there is the option, sir. In the send button, when we will send to something in the mail, then there is the option, certain URL, then it will come short form. Then the short URL, we will copy paste it, then it will come, sir. It's view form. Google form will come like this.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I am presenting you the data tracking. How to track the data? Because you have to find out the row irregularities and the column irregularities. Okay. For example, this is my data. Okay, this is my data. So you will find that is the AC2, AC4, etc. Some items are there. Okay. So that is the count. That means 30 items are there. Okay. Now what is important? That is if the standard deviation, for example, so when you find the 30 data everywhere, that means there is no irregularity. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, another important part is what is the standard deviation and what is the mean. So you have to write down the average. Equal to average okay, so that is the 4.16. Another important, you have to write down the maximum data. Because the maximum data will be 5. Maximum score. Okay, maximum score will be 5. And the minimum score will be
2.
1.
1. Yes.
Okay. So you can find out, you can write down the mean. That is the count. And that is the maximum. After that, minimum. This is the data tracking.
Yes, sir. Minimum টা কত? 2.
And after that, you have to calculate the standard deviation. This is very important.
Yes.
Okay, then you will copy all of them. Okay. Then you have to check the 5 and 1 that should be there. Okay. So we have noted that is the 5 is there, and in some cases we find that is that 2 is the minimum. Another thing, what is the standard deviation? If his standard deviation is 0, that means there is no data. Because here all the data are good data, therefore you do not find any irregularities there. So that is by the row variable. So you can apply the simple data tracking by the row. And this is the count. So how many 1 is there, how many 0 is there, how many 9 is there, how many 14 is there, how many 13. And because it is the how many 1, how many 2, how many 3, how many 4, how many 5, how many, and total is the sum. Okay. So you have to find that is the what will be the maximum sum. You will find that is the 57, 57, 57 everywhere.
Maximum 10.
Because the 57 people are there. It is the sum. It is the sum of this one. Okay, so A62 this one. That means here there is some data, wrong data. Okay. Because here it is shown that is it is 63. That means some irregularities are there in this data. So can you tell me what is the irregularity here? Why it is 63? Why it is more? Let's look at it. What is this? So some irregularities are there because 57 will be there, but it shows 63. So we have to find out where is the problem. Okay. That means there is some irregularity in this particular data. We do not know where it lies, but we have to find out. So what is important, that is you have to do the data tracking by your row variable. Another one is the column variable. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now so this is your data. Now you have to find out whether your data are correlated or not. So what is your theory? Because the items will be correlated with each other. Therefore, what is important, that is you have to do the R programming. That is very vital. For the data tracking, you have to do the R. Or you can do SPHs, whatever kind of stata, many things are there. But I prefer R. Suppose I am writing, there is a test item. So test equal to read dot table. Mona Lisa, please tell me,
Yes.
what will be the command? ভুলে গেলে চলবে না।
Read that page.
সব ভুলে গেছে।
কোথায় লিখলেন দেখতে পেলাম না।
হ্যাঁ স্যার,
I am writing.
কোথায় লিখলেন স্যার?
ও আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, দাঁড়াও। Is it clear now?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
কি করতে চাইছেন স্যার বলবেন?
এবার আমাকে দেখতে হবে তো ওদের মধ্যে কোরিলেশনটা আছে কিনা, ডেটা ট্র্যাক করতে হবে তো।
Yes, sir. কমান্ডটা দিতে হবে, read.csv কমান্ড আছে।
Okay, so data is a fine. Okay, it reads properly. Okay, so it reads properly.
Yes, sir.
Then you have to find out that is the names. Okay, so total how many data are there? 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So we can make it test bind.
टेस्ट सी बाइंड लिख दीजिए।
Okay. So that is the 30 items data. Then I can write down COR bracket test C bind comma test dollar mean. Sure, I will get all the information. Okay.
Yes.
So that is the data tracking.
टेस्ट बाइंड टा सर किस लिए यूज करें? Sir, why we'll use this test bind?
Yeah, so all the items, item total correlation you will get. So what you have noted, that is the item, first item that is negatively correlated. Okay. That means this is not the good item. Again, the AC25, that is also negatively correlated. This is not the good item. Okay. Is it clear or anything, any question?
Clear.
স্যার হাতে করে না করে করলে হবে না হাতে করতে
নিজস্ব ডাটারে করতে হবে।
Yes, this data is there, so you can write down that is a plot. Test score. Yeah, this is the data tracking. Na? You have to find out. So this is the data.
Sir, C bind means column bind.
C bind means column bind. So these 30 items that is there as basically the columns. They are together. They are one vector.
Yes.
So they are creating one vector. So when I write down that is a core test bind, that test bind is a vector, first vector. Another one is this mean, that is one a vector. So we find the simple item total correlation. And if I do this plot, this is the index plot. So you will find that is this item. Maybe this is the first item. Okay, and this item, and these items. And you will find that is most of the items are above 0.3 like that. Okay. And if you find that is the 0.3 means it is significant, then you can accept it. For example, you can write down that is the COR bracket test dollar 31. Maybe you can consider the 31 comma test dollar mean. And if you write down code dot test,
Error.
oh, sorry. It is not the test that 31. I'm
why 31 sir
because here you will find the 31 that is a 0.21. Okay, so I am thinking that is whether it is significant. So I find it is a 0.01 level significant. Okay, that means the items having the 0.2 above, all the items are significant. So less than 0.21 may not be very much significant. So we can collect only the data which are above the 0.2. Is it clear or any question?
No, sir, not clear. Unless we do, we cannot understand it.
No, whether this, okay, row tracking is clear, right? Column tracking is clear, okay? And this is basically the item total correlation. Because it is a 5-point rating scale, so you have to find out whether the items are correlated with each other or not. If the items are not correlated, then you have to explore, that is there any outlier? For example, the first item, that is a problem. So we can check the box plot. Yes, so you will find some of the outliers are there. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Because the item, first item total correlation is minus 0.007, right?
Yes, sir.
So this item is not theoretically sound.
Hmm.
But why they are not sound? We have noted that is the data, there is a discrepancy in the data. Okay. So in this way, you can track the data. So there are several tools and techniques are there, statistical models. You can apply those models and you can track the data.
Sir, for tracking, that we have done average, mean, count, maximum, minimum, and standard deviation. Suppose
That
the
is
data
clear.
is on.
Yes.
Yes.
So that
clear.
is for you the row tracking and the column tracking.
And when suppose the data is only with 1 and 0, so that will also give us.
Then again, that is the how many 1 and how many 0. So if there are 10 items, so at least there will be the, if you think of the count will be the 10.
Okay.
And if you sum it, so if there are 10 items, maximum score is 10, and the minimum will be the 0.
0, right.
So
Okay.
0 to 10.
So that we will do row wise as well as column wise.
Yes. Now I am presenting higher level of data tracking.
Sir, are there sir.
That is the correlation. Okay.
Sir,
Sir, if we have too many outliers, it means we don't find no correlation.
Yeah, that possibility is there.
Okay.
Because the outliers are there, na? So you see that the data basically is skewed data. This data basically is skewed data. Okay, because you see maximum individuals, the 5 category. So this data skewed data. Since it is a skewed data, there is a problem in the correlation. Okay.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Any more question? Is it clear, Dina?
একটু হাতে কলমে করতে হবে স্যার, ব্যাপারটা একটু পড়ার সময় মনে হচ্ছে বুঝতে পারছি, কিন্তু এটাও বুঝতে পারছি যে করতে গেলে একটু সমস্যা হবে।
ওই জন্য আমি ইচ্ছা করে এটা ইউটিউবে লিংকে দিয়ে দিয়েছি।
ওকে স্যার।
যাতে পরবর্তীকালে তোমরা মানে যেহেতু এখানে অনেক জিনিস আলোচনা করব তো ওই জন্য ইউটিউবে লিংকে দিয়ে দিয়েছি যাতে তোমাদের অসুবিধা না। Okay. Okay, Vignesh, anything to say?
Sir, if we have getting negative values, do we need to clean the data?
Yeah, you have to find out why the data, why negative values are there. Because theoretically, that will be the positive, right? But if you find the negative, then you have to find out whether the item is basically the reverse item for that reason you have received, and whether you have not reversely scored. So all things are very important, particularly in handling the negative item.
Is
And if
that,
there is any outlier or not.
sir, is this all the process named as data curation or something else different, sir?
Data reliability.
Data curating, some they say data curating or data curation.
What do you mean by the curation? I cannot understand.
So I found in a paper that one of the researcher, they say I have curated the data.
What is this?
I thought it was like cleaning the data or
Yeah, data cleaning. Yes, data cleaning, that is based upon several assumptions. Data curation, I have no idea of the data curation. I have no idea because I have not done the data curation.
We can
I
track the
tried to
data.
find that.
Maybe the data cleaning.
Okay, sir.
So that is mainly the data curation that is related to the data-driven model. Okay, there are two approaches in psychological research. One model I have developed, but now people know it very well. That is the psychoinformatics. That is basically the data-driven model. And another one is the hypothesis-driven model. People are usually following the hypothesis-driven model. Hypothesis-driven model provided by Aristotle, and the data-driven model provided by basically Plato. After that, in Crimean word, you will find the Florence Nightingale. After that, there are many computer scientists, so they are talking about they have developed the data-driven model. But actually, data-driven model provided by Plato. And next, Florence Nightingale. So Dina knows very well. Right, Dina?
Take Jennings, sir.
Crimean War.
Yes.
During the Crimean War, actually, Florence Nightingale explored how the environment affects the health or the severity of disease of the patient. So, and she actually followed the data-driven model. That may be qualitative approach, but her insight is very important.
Now I am clear, sir. I think the author might be saying something about this data-driven model, so that he used the term curating.
Yeah, maybe for that reason that author says data curation like that.
Yes, sir.
Because the data organization following the interest of the group, that is data curation. You have to organize the data. So, may I close now or anything to say? If you have any question, you can ask me because I have finished.
Sir,
Okay, so
Somar,
Mona Lisa, please have the prayer now.
please close your hand.
Please close your hands and start the prayer.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnascha Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasisyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So please you open your video so that we can collect at least one peek. Shumita, video on correct.
Ha, sir. Ha.
Vignesh, please open your video. And tomorrow our research assistants, they will see your picture. They have not seen you.
Sumita ma'am, picture.
Shumita, you are not.
Oh, okay, okay, sir. Am I visible? No.
No, back कर दियो camera टा.
1 minute.
Your copies.
আমার খাতাগুলো শুধু দেখা যাচ্ছে।
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes, Shumita. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. সুমিতা ম্যাম
Thank
ও
you.
পড়ালেখা করছে।
হ্যাঁ, সুমিতা ম্যাম ভীষণ পড়াশোনা করে। না, সুমিতা ম্যামের একটা ইন্টারেস্ট আছে, বিশেষ করে জানার আগ্রহটা সুমিতা ম্যামের খুব হাই।
হ্যাঁ, ইয়েস।
দিনারও আমি দেখলাম, মানে দিনা এই ক্লাসগুলো ফলো করছে, মানে দিনা ইজ ফলোইং, আই এম স্পিকিং বেঙ্গলি, দিনা ইজ ফলোইং আওয়ার ক্লাসেস প্রপারলি and she is attending all the classes. That is a good sign.
Thank you, sir.
And today we find Vignesh.
Mhm.
So how is the class, Vignesh, today? What is your experience?
You
Vignesh,
unmute.
Vignesh, you unmute.
And now I could relate it with why I am doing this. So earlier I don't know why am I doing this while developing a questionnaire or in the Google form. Now I could understand why the rationale behind all these things. For example, hypothesis, and for example, the sampling, and what kind of statistics. So it should be well orchestrated before initiating this
Google form, right? Because they are contributing on the Google form, contributing basically the data to the Google form. Okay. So Dina, how is the class?
Excellent, sir. Throughout this pandemic time, I filled up so many Google forms, but I don't know how to create it. Today I have learned it, and definitely in the future time I will use it.
Yeah, you please, there were several add-ons are there. You can play with the add-ons and then you can understand what is there. Okay. Okay, thank you. So
Thank you.
I'm closing it now. Shumita, how is the class today?
Yes, sir. It's a nice class, but more depends on how I practice.
That is true. That is true. So Mona Lisa, you have enjoyed the class?
Yes, sir. Enjoyed a lot, sir.
Okay, thank you.